Day 5 of Ravens training camp just wrapped up. The pads came on today. We had huge days from Mike Green, Mark Andrews. The kicking competition heats up. We'll go over who was there, all the practice notes. We also hear from John Harbaugh, Greg Lewis, and Zay Flowers. All that and more in today's episode of the Flock Rundown.
Ravens Flock. The Flock Rundown is the place to be.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Day 5 of Ravens training camp just wrapped up. The pads came on today. We'll start with who was there first before we get into what happened today. Jake Hummel and Keith Kirkwood did return to the field today. Jake Hummel was dealing with that hand injury, but he is back. Emory Jones Jr. still on that non-football injury list. Darius Washington still on the PUP. Rashad Bateman was out today, but Harbaugh was asked and said that he sent Bateman home because he was sick. Bateman didn't want to go home, but the team felt it was better so that everyone else didn't get sick, but nothing serious there. Jair Alexander was out today for knee swelling, but he got it drained, and Harbaugh said he should be back tomorrow. Bilal Kone was out. He hurt his shoulder a few practices ago, but Harbaugh said he should be back very soon. It's not serious. And then Jalen Armour-Davis went down today before team drills. He did not return. John Harbaugh said he's getting an MRI. They don't think it's too serious, but we'll see. And then Oweh, who didn't miss any practices, but he's been limited the last few. He's been seen off running to the side and whatnot, but he did return to full practice today after being limited. Huge day from Mike Green. It's also Mike Green's birthday, so happy birthday, Mike Green. But what a day. First day with the pads on, and he showed out.
Today was the first day of pads, and Mike Green won the day. I posted a clip earlier. That was a one-on-one rep against a tight end. He should win those. But even beyond that, Mike Green was dominant in the team drills. He had a sack, a would-be sack, I should say, on Cooper Rush. He also had, to me, which was the most impressive rep of the day from him, where it was a run to Keaton Mitchell, who ended up going up the middle of the field on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. Mike Green comes off unblocked on the edge, and he ends up chasing Keaton Mitchell down from the backside. Keaton has already gone through the hole, and Mike Green comes up from the backside through the hole and wraps Keaton Mitchell up from behind. And Keaton's speed is back. I don't think that's been something that's overblown. I think that was a testament to the workhorse mentality that Mike Green plays with. His motor is second to none. So really good day from Mike Green.
To hear that Mike Green is chasing Keaton Mitchell down and also already has great bull rush power and polished pass rush moves. I mean, I think this guy is everything and more that we expected, and to find a talent like this in the second round for the Ravens to take him still blows my mind, man. But I'm happy Mike Green's in Baltimore. Can't wait to see his entire career play out, but especially him on the field this season, man. I think this is a gem that the Ravens got in the second round, and they ended up leaving that draft with two really top players, man, and Malachi Starks and Mike Green, who I think will contribute immediately. So shout out Mike Green, dominant first day with the pads on. That's what we like to hear. Kicking competition heated back up again today. Tyler Loop had been perfect through 4 days of training camp, but today struggled a little bit, and John Hoyland was perfect. So Tyler Loop went 5 for 8, missing from 43, 38, and 47 yards. And then John Hoyland went 4 for 4 today. So up until today, Loop was perfect through training camp. He had a couple up and down days in OTAs and mini camp, but back to a strong competition. I think this is a real kicking competition. You know, Loop was drafted in the 6th round, John Hoyland undrafted, but both rookie kickers. And we heard from Chris Horton 2 days ago. He was saying that he wants a clear winner in this kicking competition. They're going to continue to rotate. They're going to rotate throughout the preseason. And I'm not sure if we're going to exactly know who's going to win this kicking battle until we're almost at week 1. Hopefully somebody does run away with it. I think Tyler Loop would have the edge there because the Ravens drafted him and they're trying to coach him to be the guy. But, you know, Justin Tucker was an undrafted rookie kicker, and it wouldn't blow my mind if John Hoyland ended up winning the job. It's still early. We'll see how this entire thing plays out through the rest of training camp, and especially through the preseason. I think the preseason is going to be huge because that's as close as you can get to game reps without being in the regular season. So a lot of time still to go here, a lot of practice days, but this kicking competition is definitely in full force. It was a strong day for Mark Andrews. He beat Roquan Smith up the seam early in practice, and then later in practice crossed up Trenton Simpson out of the slot for a big gain over the middle.
Also, best day for Mark Andrews, and I got on here the other day and I talked about how it's really been Isaiah Likely's camp to this point. We haven't had that vintage Mark Andrews day where it feels like half of Lamar's passes are going to 89. Today was that day, and I don't think it's a coincidence that happened on the first day of pads. So Mark Andrews was very busy today. He had a really good rep on a deep ball that he caught over the middle of the field, and ends up, he didn't stop at the whistle. He took that and he blew through the safety and the corner and took it all the way up into the end zone to finish the rep. So a really good day for Mark Andrews.
Also more solid days from Tez Walker, who had another very active day today, made catches on crossing routes in 11s and 7s. On the second one, he had TJ Tampa trailing him, held onto the ball through the second-year corner's punch. Isaiah Likely had a similar rep against Marlon Humphrey on the play before. Humphrey came in and tried to punch it out. Likely extended the ball out of his reach. Seems like Tez Walker's having a great day every day throughout this entire offseason, not just training camp either. OTAs, mini camp, and through training camp, Tez Walker's name continues to pop up, and I really think that he's doing everything he possibly can to earn as much offensive touches and snaps. I don't know if he'll get a ton of touches, but just being out there, he's a threat. His speed is a threat, so just being out on the field, I think, will open up things for everyone else, and then he'll also get some touches too. But Tez Walker, man, having a great offseason.
Continue to do what he's been doing. He's a young player. He showed some potential last year towards the end of the season, getting in, making a few plays, had a touchdown against the Giants, and we're just trying to build off that. He's a fast guy. He can make plays down the field. He can make plays across the field. And then also special teams comes into that part of it. If you're not out there first, all right, you got to be doing something to help the team. That goes back to the unselfish stuff that we talk about with Harvs and EDC and top-down type of stuff. So Tez is working his tail off as far as receiver and trying to hone his craft there. And then also with the special teams, but I'll let Hort talk about that, but he's doing a tremendous job of just being in the playbook, understanding what he's supposed to do, and then going out and trying to make plays each and every opportunity that he gets.
DeAndre Hopkins made an absolutely insane catch, one of his best catches as a Raven, one-handed grab on a fade route over Nate Wiggins in the low red zone from Lamar Jackson. Unfortunately, he got called for offensive pass interference because the ref said that Hopkins jerked Wiggins' helmet on the rep. Hopkins has also been pretty active throughout camp. I think he's going to have a really strong red zone role for the Ravens this year, and third down, move the chains, possession type guy, jump ball guy. That's a guy that doesn't have to have as much separation as a guy like Zay Flowers or, a LeJontay Wester. Those guys, they can't exactly go up and get it with their size. They don't have the same size as DeAndre Hopkins, and Hopkins is probably not going to have that same type of separation, but he can be covered on a 3rd and 7, and Lamar's going to still throw it to him. That's a vet that knows how to contort his body. He still has a strong catch radius, great hands. I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a piece that we've needed. He's almost that tight end piece that we've been using, but at wide receiver, and he's a veteran Hall of Fame wide receiver. We've been going to Likely and Andrews for contested catches when we need one, even though everyone's covered. But I think DeAndre Hopkins adds another option and is going to be pretty involved, man. I don't think he'll be involved as Zay and Bateman, but I do think DeAndre Hopkins will probably come in third for sure in, stats and production out of the Ravens' entire wide receiver room. I think he's definitely more involved than Tez Walker or a Tylan Wallace. So excited for what DeAndre Hopkins is going to bring to this offense. Very excited for what he's going to bring to this team off the field too, man. I mean, all the players have been talking about he's a true vet. He understands the game and how to be a pro at a different level than they do. He's a lot older than everyone in that receiver room. So guys like Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman and Tez Walker and Tylan Wallace, they can learn a ton from a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. I think it makes all of their games better, from this year on. I think they're going to improve a lot because of being around a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. We had the first scuffle of camp. I don't think it was too serious, but Oweh and rookie Carson Vinson got into it a little bit. Vinson's helmet was knocked off in the scuffle and they were separated. There's nothing really to that. I like hearing stuff like that, man. It means the competition's high. It means the guys care, you know? So I think that that's all positive and is going to probably continue throughout camp, especially as, you know, it gets hotter. They're going to get more annoyed with each other as camp goes on. The pads obviously came on today, which ups the physicality. So I don't think that's the first scuffle that we're going to see. We also got a little bit of an defensive line update today from Cordell.
I thought the D-line was dominant today at times. I thought Matabike definitely showed his physicality, and that's something that we haven't seen from Matabike to this point in camp with the pads off. But no doubt about it, it showed up in a big way today once the pads came on. Got to see Aeneas Peebles have a couple of good reps as well in one-on-one. So my excitement for him continues to grow. O-line had some reps too. Roger Rosengarten had a couple of reps where he's standing guys up. He had a good rep against Adafe Oweh. Oweh also had a good rep against Rosengarten. And David Ajabo had a couple of good reps today. I actually have in my notes that Ajabo was very active today. So that's really good to see from him. But we'll see if the O-line can kind of catch up. I've been saying it. I think to this point in camp, the defense has been winning. The defense looks like the more dominant side of the ball to me to this point in camp. Still a long, long way to go.
Zay Flowers spoke to the media today. He said that he's feeling better than ever, and he is also faster and more explosive than he was before the injury.
It sucked to miss that time and miss the playoffs because you work all season, then you get hurt last game. So it definitely motivated me to get back on the field, push my rehab, my therapy, and get back right to where I was. But I feel better than before. I was running hills. I trained with my trainer on specific stuff that I wanted to get done, and we got it done. And I felt like I got faster, I got stronger. I felt better than I did before, even before I got hurt.
You seen that out here already with the guys going head-to-head?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Have they said anything to you?
Yeah. A lot of people said that I got faster, that I got more explosive, and hey, I just put the work in and what I expected.
The offensive penalties did continue today. It's still pretty early in camp, but that has been a common theme through the 5 days of training camp is false starts. And then today was offensive pass interference calls and holding calls. And the offense definitely is a little bit behind the defense, which isn't that much of a surprise early in training camp. I feel like it goes like that a lot. You know, today was the first day with the pads on. There's a big adjustment period when the pads come on. Timing and everything gets a little more off. There's a lot more pressure. So I don't think it was the best day overall from the offense. They're still catching up to the defense a little bit, but the offense is going to improve practice after practice. Would like to see these penalties start to subside a little bit, though. You know, as we get deeper into camp, I definitely don't want to keep hearing about this many offensive penalties every single day. I know they're working on complicated cadence. I know that their pads just came on and there's an adjustment period for sure. I totally understand all that, but you know, you don't want to see that continue. So just looking for some improvement there with the penalties, but not worried yet. I mean, we're on day 5 of many practices to go. So I don't think that it's a huge issue. This is where you would want to have some penalties and, you know, correct it right now and get better so that you're not having holding penalties, especially. I think holding penalties are killers, man. They're drive killers. So you do not want to have holding penalties in the regular season. Obviously, it's going to happen. I know there's holding a lot, but we've seen many times where the Ravens are moving the ball, they get a holding penalty, and now it's freaking 2nd and 20, 3rd and 20, and the drive's over. So you just don't want to have those happen often in the regular season. So I'd rather them happen now, just want to see it subside at some point. That's pretty much it from day 5 of Ravens training camp. Practice again tomorrow. Also tomorrow night at 7:30, I'm having Cordell on the show, so we'll get some direct access to what's going on at training camp, what he sees, and just get to ask some questions and, you know, chop it up like we always do. So looking forward to that. Appreciate you guys, as always, for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I let the greatest linebacker in the history of the game take us out.
Ravens Flock. The Flock Rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. The flock rundown. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.